my affinity space I'm going to talk about is the world of coaching high school football. So I myself am a member of this affinity space as I coach at Campbell High School here in Smyrna, Georgia, in Cobb County. Campbell High School is a member of the GHSA, which stands for Georgia High School Association, and they're also members of Region 4 6A, which is how they classify schools here in Georgia, where they split them up using size of school, enrollment, and whatnot. This group is made up of members that, one, love high school football, and two, love coaching. Those are the two essentials that each member of this group must have, and they all share this passion with each other. Also, most, if not all, members of this affinity space have played football at least the high school level. Some have gone on to play in college, some have gone on to play professional, but their level of experience playing the game has at least gone to the high school level. So, newbies of this group usually kind of slide in and get started at the ninth grade level. They coach ninth grade football. That is where I started in this space. Very rarely are you given an opportunity to coach varsity football right away. You must gain the experience by coaching young guys, going through a scheme that someone is tutoring you through, and gaining the respect and trust from your head coach. The masters of this group, of course, is the head varsity football coach. This is where you're not only allowed to coach your own team, you're over an entire team, an entire staff of members of this affinity space, but you're also running an entire program from fundraising to playing on Friday nights. So it's a big deal. Masters must be prepared for that. And that's why there's only one for each team, and there's not many in this entire space. Usually the portal into this space, like I said, is having played the sport of football, at least at the high school level. That's where you kind of start to get the more specialized coaching as a player, and where you start to gain knowledge right away. You also build up contacts from guys that have coached you, which in turn you can call later on when you decide to join this space and see if they can help you get your foot in the door. Generators for this space can be coaches just sharing with each other, sharing about this space. So you can have two coaches sitting in an office kind of sharing schemes and X's and O's with each other. Or, like here in Atlanta, they have twice a year a Glazier Clinic, which there's hundreds to thousands of coaches at the high school level come together from all over the country to share knowledge, to gain knowledge, and to kind of expand this affinity space, to grow on the content in this affinity space. So talking about content usually changes when a coach or a group of coaches find a more innovative way to do what's already being done. The concept of most football schemes are universal and quite simple. So any tweak that a coach makes can be seen and is usually shared and borrowed by another coach. The easiest way for members to find out about this content change is by playing against another coach. So when you're watching film, you recognize a coach's scheme, you recognize what they're doing, what they may have tweaked from a previous scheme. So you usually gain this knowledge of a change by facing it, by experiencing it. Also, the knowledge dispersion, it usually starts out, coaches share knowledge with each other within a staff, within a group of coaches that are on the same team. All right? And then in turn, that content expands into other staffs and then across the country. So the fandom usually does not affect this affinity space. There's always, and I'm sure everybody that'll listen to this, they like to think they know more than some coaches they've watched, coaches of teams. So we call them armchair quarterbacks, and they usually gather, usually on message boards, where they can bash other coaches, they can complain about schemes their coaches are running, and just usually they don't usually have nice things to say. So I don't know if I'd call them fans, but most coaches kind of encourage each other not to pay attention to the participants of this fandom, and so it doesn't usually affect the space much at all. Knowledge. So knowledge kind of goes down at different levels. So position coaches are responsible for being experts at their individual position. Their knowledge is specialized, and they are usually only specialized at one position, at a singular position. They rely on other coaches to be specialized in the other positions. The next tier on the pyramid, you could say, is the coordinators. You have offensive and defensive coordinators. These members are responsible for being experts at either the defensive side or the offensive side of the ball. They must not only have specialized knowledge of the individual positions on their team, on their side of the ball, but also have a very broad knowledge of the entire side of the ball itself. So they must be experts at each position, and then experts at the entire side of the ball. They must have a broader knowledge as well as that specialized knowledge at the positions. And then lastly, at the top of the pyramid, you have head coaches. These members must be experts at every facet of the game. They must have knowledge at every position across the board and broader knowledge on both sides of the ball. So they end up being true experts at this entire sport. They're expected to know everything. They're expected to oversee everything. So you must have that really great knowledge of the game. So I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into the affinity space of Georgia high school football, or just high school football coaching in general. So I hope that you ask me any questions that you have further, and I encourage anybody that's interested in coaching to look for those entry-level positions so that they can get their foot in the door and join the group.